1 Kings chapter 11. And sovereign Shlomo loved many foreign women, in addition to the daughter of Pharaoh, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonian, and Hittite women, from the nations of whom Yah had said to the children of Israel, You do not go into them, and they do not go into you, for they shall certainly turn away your hearts after their mighty ones. Shlomo clung to these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. And it came to be when Shlomo was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other mighty ones. And his heart was not perfect with Yah, his Elohim, as was the heart of his father David. And Shlomo went after Ashtoreth, the mighty one of the Sidonians, and after Melakim, the abomination of the Ammonites. And thus Shlomo did evil in the eyes of Yah, and did not follow Yah completely, like his father David. Then Shlomo built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, on the hill that is east of Yerushalayim, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And so he did for all his foreign wives, who burnt incense and slaughtered to their mighty ones. Therefore Yah was enraged with Shlomo, because his heart had turned away from Yah, Elohim of Israel, who had appeared to him twice, and had commanded him certainly this word, not to go after other mighty ones. But he did not guard what Yah had commanded. And Yah said to Shlomo, Because you have done this, and have not guarded my covenant and my laws which I have commanded you, I shall certainly tear the rain away from you, and give it to your servant. Only I do not do it in your days, for the sake of your father David. Out of the hand of your son I shall tear it. Only I shall not tear away all the rain, but give one tribe to your son for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Yerushalayim which I have chosen. And Yah raised up an adversary against Shlomo, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the seed of the sovereign in Edom. And it came to be, when David was in Edom, and Joab the commander of the army had gone up to bury the slain, after he had struck every male in Edom, Joab remained there with all Israel for 6 new moons, until every male in Edom was cut off. And Hadad fled to Mitzrayim, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, while Hadad was still a little child. And they arose from Midian, and came to Paran, and took men with them from Paran, and came to Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, who gave him a house, and ordered food for him, and gave him land. And Hadad found much favor in the eyes of Pharaoh, so that he gave him as wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of sovereignness Tahpenes. The sister of Tahpenes bore him Genubath his son, and Tahpenes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in the house of Pharaoh among the sons of Pharaoh. And Hadad heard in Mitzrayim that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab the commander of the army was dead. And Hadad said to Pharaoh, Let me go to my land. And Pharaoh said to him, But what have you lacked with me, that you are now seeking to go to your own land? And he answered, No, but please let me go. And Yah raised up another adversary against him, Rezon, son of Eliada, who had fled from his master, Hadaezer, sovereign of Sobah, and gathered men to him, and became commander over a raiding band, when David killed those of Sobah. And they went to Damascus and dwelt there, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary of Israel all the days of Shlomo, besides the trouble that Hadad caused. And he was hostile to Israel, and reigned over Aram. And a servant of Shlomo, Jeroboam, son of Nebat, an Ephraimite from Zerdah, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow, also lifted up a hand against the sovereign. And this is what caused him to lift up a hand against the sovereign. Shlomo had built Milo, repairing the breaks in the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a brave man, and Shlomo, seeing that the young man was doing his work well, made him an officer over all compulsory labor of the house of Joseph. And it came to be at that time, when Jeroboam went out to Yerushalayim, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite met him on the way. and he was wearing a new garment, and the two were alone in the field. And Ahiah took hold of the new garment that was on him, and tore it to 12 pieces, and said to Jeroboam, Take for yourself 10 pieces, for thus Yah, the Elohim of Israel, see, I am tearing the rein out of the hand of Shlomo, and shall give 10 tribes to you. But he shall have 1 tribe for the sake of my servant Dawid, and for the sake of Yerushalayim, the city which I have chosen out of all tribes of Israel, because they have forsaken me, and bowed themselves to Ashtoreth, the mighty one of the Sidonians, to Chemosh, the mighty one of the Moabites, and to Milcom, the mighty one of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do what is right in my eyes, and my laws and my right rulings, as did his father Dawid. But I did not take all the reign out of his hand, because I have made him ruler all the days of his life, for the sake of my servant Dawid, whom I chose, because he guarded my commands and my laws. And I shall take the reign out of his son's hand, and give it to you, the 10 tribes. And to his son I give 1 tribe, so that my servant Dawid shall always have a lamp before me in Yerushalayim, the city which I have chosen for myself, to put my name there. So I take you, and you shall reign over all that your being desires, and you shall be sovereign over Israel. And it shall be, if you obey all that I command you, and shall walk in my ways, and do what is right in my eyes, to guard my laws and my commands, as my servant Dawid did, then I shall be with you, and build for you a steadfast house, as I built for Dawid, and shall give Israel to you. And because of this, I humbled the seed of Dawid, but not forever. And Shlomo sought to kill Jeroboam, but Jeroboam rose up and fled to Mitzrayim, to Shishak, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and was in Mitzrayim until the death of Shlomo. And the rest of the acts of Shlomo, all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Shlomo? In the days that Shlomo reigned in Yerushalayim, over all Israel was 40 years. So Shlomo slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of Dawid his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his place.